Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy birthday to you, even if it's not your real birthday, because every day is your birthday if you choose to celebrate life. Welcome to the first day of the rest of your life. Absolutely. And here we are on a Friday. I have been to rave and I have got my coffee and my apricot flapjack, which is delicious, by the way. Well worth recommending that if you ever come anywhere near Cirencester. Yummy, yummy. Although, as my mother pointed out to me, it's not really a flapjack because it's got apricots in it and it's made of cornflakes. I think it's got, yes, it has got oats as well, but it's also cornflakes. So, yummy, yummy. Happy birthday to me because it's my birthday today. Man walking dog. I'm in a slightly different position, as you can see. That is Siddington over there. My phone is very interestingly placed up here with a bit of tape across it to hold it in place, with a stone behind to tip it in the right direction, and a stake underneath it to hold it up. I had to find a good place to do this. I always find it a bit self-conscious when I'm a bit too close to the people coming in and out of the gates over there, especially with their children on 8:30 on a Friday morning rather. And of course they're technically in the background as well as they're going past, but this way, freedom, there's nobody here for miles. Anyway, happy birthday everybody, cheers, nice coffee as well. There's an interesting thing. While I was setting up here, I obviously closed my coffee down and put it on a stake just over here, which I'm going to do now. And one side of it was facing the sun, and when I picked it up, the side facing the sun was really, really hot. So nice, keeping my coffee nice and hot. That's lovely. Anyway, right, good. Don't pick flowers. Should have said that right at the beginning, never mind. Anyway, happy birthdays first of all to Andrea, Anna and Simone. Interesting collection of people we have today. And I think Fred as well. Happy birthday to Fred Hanbury. I think Fred, if I'm thinking this right, I did try and look at your profile to check it out. You the guy with the longboard who I met in rave, in fact. I think you used to work in rave as well. Do you still work in rave? I don't know. Anyway, if that's you, hello. See you in most mornings, well, not most mornings, quite often, and when I go out for my run and you're going past on your skateboard in the opposite direction. So anyway, happy birthday to you. Hope you have a lovely day today. If that is you, if it's not, happy birthday to you, Fred, whoever you are. We always say happy birthday to people and we do a little exercise, don't we? We blow out the candles on their cake. So blowing out one candle, what's the one thing you want to get done today? 5 in through your nose. Put that hand in your heart. And your left hand, light the candles on your left hand while you're holding the breath. And then blow out the candles on your cake. And wish happy birthday to yourself, as well as the 4 people who are my friends on Facebook, and anybody else in the world who's also is the first day of the rest of their lives too. So welcome to their first day of their lives, and happy birthday to them too. I want to try and change these up a little bit. I'm getting quite close to having done a year of these birthday things, I think. I need to go back and have a look and see what it is. And when I get to that point, I think I'm definitely going to have to stop doing these. I think maybe, I don't know, we'll see. Maybe not the long ones. So what I'm probably going to do is going to bring these longer ones into my Facebook group and start building that up as a resource. And then just do little shiny shorter ones, because I've started doing on Instagram these like 30-second introductions to say, go and check out my IGTV. And I think what I'd like to be able to do is do the 36 ones on Instagram and say, go and check out a slightly longer one, which will be this one that I record on Facebook, which will be like maximum sort of 5 minutes, I suppose. And then say, if you want the full thing and full experience, check out my group and go and join the group on Facebook. As an example, possibility, I don't know, we'll see. Or come and join my program, that's the other thing. Still working on the details of that. I'm off to Ilfracombe on Sunday for 7 weeks. I'm house sitting for a friend of mine called Anna. So I'll be in a very different environment for the next 7 weeks. Hopefully be able to really super focus on getting all this stuff sorted out and prepared for people. Hello to viewers, by the way. Say hello and wave at me, that'd be great. Give me some thumbs up or something, it'd be lovely. So we've done the happy birthday, so don't pick flowers. I always realise, because part of the problem with this, of course, is that I do that whole introduction thing. It's like 5 minutes of chat, and I haven't actually gotten to the topic of the thing that I wanted to talk about, which is, and it's not so much don't pick flowers. That's a bit of a clickbait thing, because obviously some people grow flowers specifically to be picked, and that is the whole point of those things. But the point of this comment here is picking a flower versus growing a flower, and it's more of a sort of psychological thing. It's short-term hits and wins and excitements versus long-term embedding of concepts and thoughts and so forth, and habits and so forth. So short-term habits versus long-term habits, short-term wins, short-term rewards versus long-term rewards. I talked a while back about a colander, where we keep on trying to fill this colander up, filling up the life with like fun things, and it just keeps leaking out. And every time we stop filling it up with these fun things, it just leaks out, and then we feel empty again. And then we have to start filling it up with all this fun stuff again to try and keep our life full. And somebody said, well, what do you? And I said, what you want to do is you want to try and cover up all the holes in the colander so that the fun stuff stays, and your life enjoys itself. And somebody asked me, what are we actually filling the colander up with? And I thought, that's a really, really good question. And then I realised later on, in fact, I just realised now, I said later on, I was trying to think of what it is, and it's like, it's doing the right kind of activities that support these things and hold things together. So things like meditation and mindfulness and so forth. And I realised that just now as I was speaking, that actually that's not necessarily true. I mean, that is true. But it's the things that you're putting in that's the problem, really, and those fun activities that are short-term, short-lived, and they're not long-term wins. It'd be much better to fill that up with good, solid habits. That gosh, that sun is really hot. I can feel it starting to burn the side of my leg. Yes, so and I thought if you're filling it, so it's rather than like wrapping it in these things like mindfulness and meditation and so forth, if you did more of those things in the top, they would fill the holes from the inside, and then you would have a colander which has a good solid base on it, a strong, as I always talk about, is sort of your level of happiness, your average level of happiness is say here, and we have ups and downs, because obviously if you don't have up and downs, that's like when your heartbeat goes beep and you died. No, you don't want that, do you? So you have to have these up and downs, and what we don't want is those downs to keep going down, and that's when negativity can bring it in. That's when depression starts to exist, and all that kind of stuff goes down, 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 down. That's not good at all. And so something that something Tony Robbins said for a while back to me, 2016 I think it was actually when I first heard this. It would be how would it feel if your average level of happiness was raised, so that this was average, so ups and downs are all up here. So now in future, your down days are actually higher or better than your current happy days. Lovely, fantastic. Happy days, happy days. Here we go, happy days. What is that? That's yeah, that was a TV show, wasn't it? Happy Days. The Fonz. Hey. Anyone old enough to remember that? Yeah, and so what can you do to push that happiness up, which is the same as what can you do to fill in the holes in your colander so that the things you do get stuck and are fun and enjoyable. And I think what the problem is when you start doing things like drugs and alcohol and even sex to a certain, or unfulfilled sex anyway, at least anyway. I think that's the trouble is those things are so small and so tiny and insignificant fun. So you can have lots of them and they can fill it up, but then they just seep through the holes. Whereas if you have like really well connected spiritual sex with somebody, for example, it sticks and it holds and it's solid. And if you go to the cinema with friends, then that's a sort of or a comedy show with friends. That's even better, live comedy show rather than watching it on YouTube, for example. And then you have that experience, and then that becomes a really full-blown experience, and makes it fills this thing up, rather than just doing the sort of short-term fixes to try and make yourself feel good. That was the difference there, I think. And it's the same thing with this moving your happiness up. So I talk about my 15 pillars of freedom. Which can support that happiness, and the more of them you do, the more you push it up. And it doesn't have to be you do all of them, because obviously you can see my little finger here isn't actually pushing it up, and that could be something like you don't really like doing meditation or exercise. You don't like doing that exercise that much, but you need to do a little bit more of it so that you're fitter, so that you can so you can enjoy your life more, for example. So if you want to get out for a long walk with a couple of friends, for example, and if you're really struggling to walk because you're not fit, then that's no good. And you go, oh, that's something I'd love to do, but I can't do it because. Well, if you start working on your fitness long term, instead of picking those flowers, you start growing those flowers over time, and then you can build up that strength, that fitness. It's the same thing with mindfulness. I talk about a mindfulness muscle, and the more you work at it, the more you exercise it, the better it becomes. I was reading something the other day, actually it was the Blinkist book of the day, a couple of weeks ago I think it was, talking about meditation. Guys, I'm not sure if he's looking at me or anyway, or whether he's looking for his dog or something. I don't know. Interesting. Meditation, and how it actually transforms your brain. Doing meditation actually can transform your brain, and can have a positive effect on lots of other areas of life, including, for example, the theory is that it could actually help to avoid things like Alzheimer's and dementia, etc. As I already know that, because one of the other studies I looked at a long time ago was about doing different activities and trying new things and exercising your brain with new activities, learning a language, taking different routes to work, to exercise your brain and finding different routes through your brain, trying new habits and so forth, building new things. And it creates more pathways in your brain so that later on in life, when those amyloid, whatever things that, that block up your brain when you get Alzheimer's, blocks up one pathway on your brain. It's like blocking up the motorway. And if you had lots of other options around it, lots of exit ramps or something, or you're driving through a town versus versus a motorway or a highway in America, then you've got lots of options. You can go different paths, you can take different routes, you can avoid the traffic jam. But if you're stuck on a motorway and you've only got one route that you go through and it gets a traffic jam on the motorway, you can't go anywhere. You're just stuck. You can't go forward. The only potential you can do is go backwards. You go backwards in time and look at your history and the things you do remember, which is why a lot of the time people with Alzheimer's can only remember things from their past because they can only go backwards. I just did a little bit of a hacky analogy, but you get the general idea. The more experiences you have and the more you exercise your brain, the fitter your brain becomes. The fitter your brain is, the better it is able to cope with problems later in life, just like your physical body as well, in exactly the same way. Anyway, I think that's probably all I wanted to say, really. In the notes, it's got fear and freeze versus preparedness. And this was something that basically is, when you watch the news, you get fearful of things. And you can stay fearful of you, it can stop you from doing things. You get a lot of people at the moment talking about pandemics type of stuff, and they're saying, the government's just scaring you to not do things. It's like, well, yeah, there's realistic fearness going on there. But what you can do is you can just take that fear and go, okay, well, I'm going to be prepared. Sorry about that. I've got a new system. I've been using it for a while, but I've just changed the way it works. A thing called Get Focused on my phone, which stops me from using social media too often. And it just kicked in and said, get off Facebook, you've been on for too long. There is a warning that comes up, but I wasn't looking at it, so it's further down the screen. Anyway, I think that's pretty much it, wasn't it, really? I was talking about fear and freeze, so you can prepare for the future. It's like your physical body, you can prepare for that as well. And I just thought that was a good idea, as far as taking that fear and use it in a positive way rather than a negative way. So yeah, the fear is good because you're looking out for things that are worth being wary about, but then you're using that and saying, okay, so that's the thing I'm fear about. What can I do to prepare for that? What can I do to mitigate that? What can I do to prepare for that and avoid that problem, rather than just being scared and then just freezing and doing nothing, which I think a lot of people have been doing. So just need to be aware of that. Okay, cool. That's all from me. Take care, guys. Have a lovely Friday. I may not do one tomorrow. We'll see how we get on. And then after Orfacombe on Sunday. So Monday will be from a completely new location. I may even do it with my friend Anna while we're walking along the coastline, because I think we're going to go and do a bit of a coastal walk on Monday morning. So yeah, it might be fun there to do that. Cool. Anne, I said Anna. Anne, I should say. Cool. Right. Take care, guys. Have a lovely weekend if I don't speak to you tomorrow. Probably will do one tomorrow, I think. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how things go, because I've got to pack and everything. So, okay. That's all right from me. Love you all. Take care. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting me. And see you soon. Take care. Bye for now.